Today, the Jamaat-ud-Dawa is funded by the Punjab government, headed by Nawaz Sharif's brother. Are all these things being taken into account? And what is it you wish to achieve? If you come back with a categorical declaration that of 2004 repeated, second, if you come back that the ceasefire
will be none.
If you can't get it, I can't see the reason. No. Because you are going back to where Mr. Vajpayee went with the Agra summit and landed up with the Delhi attack.
That's the point.
No, so by all means engage them, but engage them seriously. Raise the costs for them internationally.
Well, you know what people in the government told me today? What people in the government told me today, and on this I'll get a reaction from Abhishek Singhvi. They will open up. I have guests from Karachi, Islamabad and Lahore also lined up, and they are waiting. We'll go across to them. But this is what they said, Dr. Singhvi. People in the government are saying that the Prime Minister feels that if he does not meet Nawaz Sharif in New York, then it will make global headlines. That the Prime Minister of India refuses to meet Nawaz Sharif in New York. And this will put the onus, and we will be the bad boys of the diplomatic arena. I can tell you at very senior levels, this is what is being said. So is this the kind of rational explanation or logic that a government should follow in deciding how to deal with a troublesome neighbor, Dr. Singhvi? That question is to you.
Arnav, there is one more point that I want to raise here.
All I can say is that I don't think your undisclosed, unknown, unquoted sources deserve an answer by me on national television. I completely reject it. I don't accept what you are saying. I don't agree with it. My sources equally tell me differently. My sources tell me that India's consistent foreign policy will continue. What the government will do in New York is for you to ask the foreign minister or the prime minister. I can't bind the government or speak on behalf of the government, but certainly I'm not going to answer a question which is based on your
Seshadri Chari, quick. Okay, fine. You've got that. Seshadri Chari, respond, and then we go across to our guests in Pakistan.
Arnav, I want to quote a source who spoke on your television just 15-20 minutes back. The foreign minister of this country very specifically said that if the talks takes place in Pakistan, the talks will have very big ramifications for the future of the region. So the Prime Minister of India is going to talk to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, which will have ramifications for the future of the region. Will the Prime Minister or his party colleagues explain what he means, and is he preparing, as Mr. Parthasarathi said, is he preparing for rewriting the history, geography and chemistry of this region? If so, I think the nation requires to know what is there in the mind of this Prime Minister, please.
Mehboob Beg, quickly. Mehboob Beg, you want to respond and then we go across. Yes, please. I give you your turn, Mehboob Beg.
Arnab, do we mean... thank you so much. Do we mean to say that we should stop talking? We cannot stop talking. Even after wars, we have gone to wars. Even after
you can suspend talks.
You cannot stop talking.
Mr. Mehboob Beg, please.
Mr.
Beg, Mr. Beg, 1 second. Hear from
Mr. Beg, it is nobody's case we stop talking. You have to engage a neighbor. More so if it's a neighbor you have problems with. The question is what form that engagement takes. You cannot reduce the salience of terrorism in your talks, which is what Dr. Manmohan Singh has done since the Sharm el-Sheikh agreement.
That's I think that
is the heart.
Now joining us from Lahore, this evening on the Newshour, former diplomat Khalid Mahmood. Mr. Mahmood, good evening. Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. Senior leader of the PMLN, Mohammad Siddiqui Al-Farouk, is joining us from Islamabad. And joining us from Karachi is Zafar Ileli. Now, we've seen where the discussion is going. We've seen these two resolutions against each other that have been made. But the point is very clear, Zafar Ileli, and you will also agree with me, that there was absolutely no need, absolutely zero need for Pakistan to move ahead with that resolution yesterday, while continuing to carry out its aggressive action along the LOC. And when you pass a resolution yesterday, you can't follow it up by a message today, look forward to meeting you in New York. By passing that resolution, Mr. Zafar Ileli, you have spoiled whatever chances there may have been of a resumption of fruitful dialogue with your country. Why would you do that?
Well, thank God you're not a diplomat and you're not in government, number one. And I must compliment you that you are rude, offensive and insufferable with Pakistanis and Indians alike. A fair man. Now...
Well, I take that, I take all of that as a compliment, because Zafar Ilaili, I have been trained not to be flattering to any politician or to speak any diplomat's language. I tell you, Zafar Ilaili, the day a journalist speaks a diplomat's language, he is no longer a journalist. I think I lost the line with Zafar Ilaili there. But let me put that same... Okay, we lost the line. Khalid Mahmood is amused at that unprovoked attack that came in from Zafar Ilaili right on top of Newshour this evening. Khalid Mahmood, that same question goes to you, sir. If yesterday's resolution hadn't happened, there might have been a sliver of hope for the resumption of a dialogue.
You see, it's unfortunate that an incident like this leads to a public coercive diplomacy. We have seen that before and we are seeing it again. I think what has happened at LOC on the 6th of August is regrettable and tragic. The Prime Minister of Pakistan has expressed his grief. He has also expressed that there are existing channels which should be utilized more fully to discuss that. And let me also point out that the LOC agreement which was initialed in
Oops, just lost the line there. Yes, he's back. Yes, Mr. Mahmood. Oops, I think I lost the line there with Mr. Khalid Mahmood. But I didn't ever hear Nawaz Sharif express regret for the killing of the Indian soldiers.
No, this was a statement he issued in May about wanting better relations and so on. But coming to what Mr. Khalid Mahmood said, why I like the resolution drafting was they have spoken of respecting the sanctity of the line of control. The word sanctity has been used only once before.
Yeah.
When Nawaz Sharif, at the end of Kargil, to get the Americans to bail him out, Clinton forced him to agree that Pakistan would respect the sanctity of the line of control. So I'm happy that in the Parliament resolution, you referred to something which Mr. Sharif agreed with Clinton on 4th July 1999 at Washington.
Yeah. Mr. Khalid Mahmood, I'm sorry I lost the line with you. I repeat that question because we didn't get your full answer. If you can hear me now. We've had a bad satellite link. The unprovoked aggression in the Pakistan National Assembly, Mr. Khalid Mahmood, is the reason why this might spiral now out of control. And most people in India find it completely hypocritical, Mr. Khalid Mahmood, that on the one side you should be talking about a meeting in New York and on the other side pushing and backing such a resolution.
I can tell you that why this resolution was adopted. If you read the papers today, it will tell you a story that obviously amongst the public representatives in the National Assembly, there was a reaction to what is being said, the kind of jingoism that is being, that is being shown in the media and in the public reaction. As I said before, what has happened on the 6th of August, unfortunate, it is tragic and it is very sad. I think there are channels, there are existing military channels, DGMOs and there are other channels through which these matters should be discussed. This has been a very troubled year in terms of the violations of the LOC. But you see, we have to look at why and when it started. Till last year, the LOC was rather quiet. Why is it? And if I can explain, I can only explain that this happened after the execution of Afzal Guru. After that, things have been, going roller coaster. I would say, let us not get excited. I think let the two senior officials, leadership talk. We cannot decide the agenda. I think what I would say is the following. Let us both show restraint, let us show responsibility. We are nuclear power and let us move on.
Mr. Khalid Mahmood, the general opinion is that Nawaz Sharif is playing a double game, and that I would like to get Mohammad Siddiqui Al Farouk of the PMLN. Mr. G. Parthasarthi, former senior Indian diplomat, has made a fairly direct charge here on the Newshour this evening that Nawaz Sharif plays a double game.
Thank you.
That on the one side he is totally engaged with Hafiz Saeed, that he keeps his links, he keeps his financial support to Hafiz Saeed and the Lashkar-e-Toiba going. And on the other side, he expects that much like Vajpayee did before Kargil, that Manmohan Singh will also blindly engage in diplomatic parleys with Nawaz Sharif. Most people in India have seen through that, Mr. Farouk. Most people, like Mr. Parthasarthi, have seen through that. I'd like your response.
My name is Siddiqul Farouk. And let me tell you that Mr. Nawaz Sharif is not at all a hypocrite. He is simple and he has always a direct approach. He sincerely believes that problems, issues, disputes in this region must be resolved through talks in the interest of the humanity of this region. And he has specially given written strategy to all Pakistani High Commissioners. And in that, Indo-Pak relations enjoy a special place in that. So as I have heard a panelist, he said that Indian Prime Minister was not fully prepared, and if he goes fully prepared for talks, and it is for the India and Indian leadership and Indian government. This is an allegation against Indian Prime Minister. But if that allegation is true, then their Prime Minister should go with full preparation. After all, what Salman Khurshid, your Foreign Minister, has said today in an interview, that talks must be continued. And he said that Indo-Pak relations between India and Pakistan are important for regions.
Mr. Farouk,
just one minute.
You did not hear what the Foreign Minister said in entirety. Sir, listen to me. What the Foreign Minister of India said, it's not my fault if you want to listen to one part of what the Indian Foreign Minister said. I did the interview, I know what he said. The Foreign Minister of India said that we need
for my consumption
on 26/11.
You tell me what did he say?
The Foreign Minister of India said we need movement on 26/11. We need Pakistan to act on Hafiz Saeed. You didn't hear that part? You did not hear that part, sir? You chose not to hear that part.
Interview, just 1 minute. The crux of his interview was that talks, issues can be resolved through talks. Same is Mr. Nawaz Sharif today in his message on the Independence Day. He said that we have to resume talks and issues must be resolved through talks because war is not solution.
One second. Mr. Siddiq, I don't think you understood the crux of that interview. When he says very clearly, we want delivery on 26/11, then he's saying it to an Indian news channel. He knows that the people of India will ask on the 23rd of September. We will ask, what was the delivery on 26/11?
Let me say,
there was no 26/11 delivery, why are you talking?
Even if
because that he has committed himself, I think that Mr. Parthasarthi, I'd like your reading of that. Please. Mr. Parthasarthi, one second, Mr. Farouk.
I think we should let our guests from Pakistan
these are allegations,
but basically
these are facts,
point is,
even
Mr.
then,
Farouk,
both the Prime Ministers will have to talk. They will sit together and will have to
the
talk.
The perpetrators of 26/11 to be brought from justice without obfuscation. And perhaps the understanding which we reached with President Musharraf in 2004 on the question of use of Pakistan territory for terrorism to be adhered to. Now, nobody is saying don't have talks with Pakistan. The issue here is going to summits unprepared without surety of results worsens the situations. And right now, Mr. Nawaz Sharif may be a changed man. Our experience in the past, whether it was 1993 or in 1999, is somewhat different. So, but people change, people might force. But before the Prime Minister of India meets, we don't want another failed summit. Let's engage, let's discuss, and let's see what we can agree on. If it doesn't meet, let the heads of government meet when we are able to reach agreement. A failure at a summit or a stalled summit with false results. Both the Havana summit and the Sharm el-Sheikh summit, from the point of view of India, were disasters. It only worsened the situation.
All that is
whereas the Vajpayee-Musharraf summit in 2004, unlike the Agra summit, was successful. It produced productive results.
All that is being said here, Mr. Al-Faruq, let me go get Zafar Ilaili and Khalid Mahmood also into this conversation. What is being said here, and Zafar Ilaili, you will totally agree with me, I'm sure, despite all the compliments you threw my way at the start of the conversation, that what you have to do is you have to see what happened between February 1997 and October 1999.